Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey, and this is a first look at the new Olympus OMD E-M5 Mark III. And today I'm going to be putting it through its paces here at the Gatwick Aviation Museum as we do a fashion shoot. Anyone who's used the E-M5 Mark II is going to find the 5 Mark III very familiar. It's a very similar size, although it is slightly bigger. And the extra size really appears in the right-hand side with more room for my fingers and my thumb, which makes holding it a lot more comfy. Olympus has moved the mode dial to the other side of the body, and that's freed up a little bit more space for some extra buttons. So now we have specific buttons for drive modes, we have an ISO button, and there is an exposure compensation button too. There's also improvements to the electronic viewfinder over the previous version. It's now using OLED technology, and the image stabilization, which was already really good, is now even better. It's 5.5 stops of image stabilization in body. The E-M5 Mark III joins the 20 million pixel club, along with its bigger brothers, the E-M1 Mark II and the E-M1X. But that's not the only thing it shares with those cameras. For example, it gets the same anti-dust coating on the sensor that the E-M1X has, and it also gains the E-M1X ability to charge using USB, which is a really handy feature and something that should be on every camera nowadays. The new camera has 121 autofocus points. They are all cross-type, they are all phase detect, and that is just like the E-M1 Mark II. Not the only similarity there either, because just like its bigger brother, the focus points on this camera can be arranged in a whole bunch of different ways. So you can have small points, a bigger point, various groups of points, or the entire 121 to choose from. And that's not the only similarity, because its low light focusing ability is just as good as its bigger brothers. I tried shooting in some really low light conditions, which were quite challenging, and yet it just kept finding focus shot after shot. It really was swift, accurate, and reliable. But the sensor technology isn't the only thing that's trickled down from the 1 series of cameras. The E-M5 Mark III also gets Pro Capture. And if you're using an Olympus fisheye lens, you can turn on fisheye correction right here in the camera. There is a new battery with the E-M5 Mark III, but the good news is it's the same battery that the E-M10 Mark III uses. So that means it's a bit smaller and a bit lighter, but it still takes exactly the same number of still images. And that new smaller battery is part of the reason why this camera is slightly lighter than its predecessor. It's that and the fact that the build is now more plastic than metal, and although that sounds like a bad thing, and it definitely feels a little bit plasticky, in reality when you use it, it feels absolutely fine, and Olympus assures me that this camera is still weather sealed, but I'm not planning to test that out today. If you shoot video compared to its previous version, this is a big step up. Firstly, it can shoot 4K at 30 frames per second, but if you need a faster frame rate, then you can do 120 frames per second in full HD. And there's also a mic-in jack as well. Getting your images off the camera in the field is just as simple as it was before, using the app and its built-in Wi-Fi, although now the camera also has Bluetooth built in. That opens up some extra options such as image transfer on the go. The Olympus OMD E-M5 Mark III is Olympus's mid-range camera, and yet when you look at it, it contains an awful lot of technology from the 1 series, the next level up. I'd go as far as to say that what Olympus has actually done is made a baby E-M1 Mark II. It certainly has all of the features that I use in that camera, and yet it's small, light, and compact. So if that's the sort of Olympus camera you're looking for, this is the camera for you. I'm Gavin Hoey, thanks for watching.